goddess is totally not visible. Okay. Move her over here. There. Here. All right, you guys. Okie dokie. Just getting a little microphone guy here. All right. So now, what am I doing here? Hello, hello. Hello, can everybody hear me okay? Hello? Well, hopefully everybody will be able to hear. Why is this not? Ugh. Do I need to turn up the volume? What's going on? How's this? Is that any better? Okay, hopefully you can all hear me okay. One view. Okay. Says I've got excellent whatever. I don't know what that means. Pop out dashboard. Okay. And yeah. A little bit more like that. Well, this is the first time I've done a live stream in a very long time indeed. And I'm not sure why, but my audio doesn't look like it's working too great. Crap. All right, 2 minutes in. Hello, beautiful souls. If there's ever any beautiful souls here, it says there aren't any. So, yeah. I don't understand what's going on with that. Okay, participants, that's me. Nobody else is in here. I think I'm just testing this at this point. What is going on here? So welcome to Venus Stirs Cerridwen's Cauldron, bringing fire from within. This is the alchemy of the rest of July. And this is for everyone. So, yeah. We're just going to go with that. And I am going to just pull up what's happening in the real sky right now. I can't pull it up on screen yet. I don't have that setup done. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay here. And I am just pulling up some information here. And sorry, like I said, this is the first time I have done this in a very long time. Wow. Okay, so that happened. Okay. And let's get this going here for from now to the end of the month, the end of July. I'm just going to take a look and see the days that we are looking at. Now, in a past video, when I talked about the 3 months of alchemy, that was all about Cerridwen's Cauldron. Now, a lot of people are calling this Barabo's basket. And what's happening is there's a creative formation of two minor grand trines, which are actually working together right now. And what's happening with those is, yeah, I think my lights are a little bright. There we go. What's happening is it's a very creative type of basket. And I'm going to take that off just in case. And with that creativity, it's coming from starting with Pluto in Capricorn, and it's moving through a sextile over to Pisces, where Neptune is, and then another sextile to Taurus, where Uranus is, and then the final sextile is to Jupiter in Cancer. And Jupiter in Cancer is considered exalted. It is a super creative, super optimistic placement for Jupiter, who is normally very optimistic. And he is opposite Pluto. And Pluto is all about changing things, ending things, and creating space for new things to happen. So Pluto takes things and breaks them down. He breaks them apart. Things that are no longer working are being broken apart in the real world right now because he's in Capricorn, and Capricorn is one of those earthy signs of how we aspire to become in our lives. Now, with these three outer planets connected to Jupiter in this way, because that means Jupiter is also trine Neptune, and Pluto is trine Uranus. So that is big flow, and all those, the three sextiles joining everything together, that makes it super creative. But at the lip of the cauldron, that's where we've got that energy of the fire of Pluto in Capricorn and the fire of Jupiter in Cancer right now. So I'm just pulling up. Today, there is something else going on. We have the sun square Saturn, our keeper of time and limits, and basically the schoolmaster of the Earth School. Now, I just want to note that the Earth is in the center of all of this. So whenever there's an opposition, it means the Earth is in the middle of it. So we're getting hit with a bombardment in some ways of those energies of Pluto and Jupiter, which is why it's affecting us personally, because Mother Earth is being affected. So Earth is made of water and, of course, earth. So all of that is being triggered right now. And today, the moon is in Pisces. So it is approaching Neptune. And it is a waning moon, and it hasn't gotten to the square phase yet, but I'll be following up. If this goes well, then I will be following up shortly with another video. So all of this is going on everywhere, everything, all at once, right? And okay, I see there's somebody watching. Can you tell me can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please type in the chat if you can hear me. I don't know who's here. It doesn't show me. So I was just talking about Cerridwen's Cauldron, and I'll just go back and keep on talking about whatever I see in the charts here for the rest of the month. So, well, all that is happening in Cerridwen's Cauldron. We do have, like I said, the sun, which is in Gemini right now, is trine our friend Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces is always a challenge, I should know, because it's my placement. And what that means is the Lord of Time is sort of in this big ocean where it seems to be outside of time, trying to build structure. Now, with that sun coming in, it's adding some clarity and clearing away any storm clouds that are happening with that square and saying, hey, you can activate things right now. And that square is going to be going on till about July 8th. And so that is an opportunity to take action on a soul level, to communicate from the deep part of your spirit. What is it that you need to structure about your spiritual life right now or your practice? What needs structure and what needs communicating? What words are you going to be using in your prayers, in your meditations? What messages are you sharing with your friends? All of that is right here, right now until the 8th. And the next thing that happens is we do have Neptune stationing retrograde on July 8th as well. So, yeah, Neptune, who is in his home sign of Pisces, stirring things up, is going to be doing a deep dive, a review of what is really under the surface that we need to still bring up to the surface as part of this cauldron. Because remember, Neptune is a part of Cerridwen's cauldron. It's part of the bottom of the cauldron right now. And at the same time that this is going on, let's see here. That's pretty much it for what's going on with all of those. But our Venus is currently getting ready to coming up on the 9th. So we've gone through the 8th. Let's look at the 9th, because the 9th is where the goddess really shows up. So the goddess is approaching the south node. Venus in Leo is approaching the south node, which is our karma. It's our gifts, especially gifts around shining and being expressive. And she is being very expressive at this point, bringing in a little tiny bit of an energy over to Mercury with the quincunx right now. And with that, she is going to be flowing and helping with that communication aspect, because Mercury is in Gemini. So as she starts to move, her next move is to be trine our friend Chiron, the wounded healer. He's that traveler in the galaxy who is not in line with the rest of everybody else. He is a traveling healer who shows up whenever there is something that needs to be healed. So he's not always connecting to things in the way that our regular planets do, which are very much on, near the ecliptic. He has his own pattern that he does, and it goes above and below the ecliptic quite frequently. And so with him in Pisces, things are very much part of that deeper work. So right now we have the moon, Neptune, Saturn, Chiron, and also Vesta, the goddess of hearth and home, the unmarried goddess of hearth and home, that is. And she is the one who is bringing in a lot of energy and a lot of fire to keep that cauldron going and keep that alchemy that's happening in there, that the goddess is helping with, that our lives are looking at and becoming more impressed upon, that we need to do this work. So July 13th, that's when that trine to Chiron perfects. And as we move on, the next move that that she makes, our Venus, is going to be semi-sextile to Jupiter. This is sort of like giving him a high five and saying, yeah, I am optimistic about this. And, it's just a slight little thing, but that is, I just want to let you know that there's some optimism, just a chance for a little bit more optimism about things around the 15th and the 16th and into the 17th as well. And then the next thing that happens is over here on what date is this? Looks like July 17th. Well, the day before. Yeah. The 16th, 17th, and 18th, Mercury will be conjunct with the sun. And Mercury is in retrograde. So we have that retrograde action going on. And so Mercury cannot be seen. He's considered under the beams, conjunct with the sun, being charged up by the sun in retrograde, and being very much aware of whatever it is that you have going on during this time on around July 17th, 16th, 17th, 18th. There's going to be a lot of energy that's being poured into that Mercury retrograde. So if there's something you need to address, like I addressed my communication issue, the only reason I can do lives is because I had to switch my internet providers during Mercury retrograde, and because my old one just wasn't cutting it, right? So you got to do what you got to do in Mercury retrograde. And since there are 3 of you here, can somebody please comment? I don't know. Oh, that says Chop Chat. Let's see here. Let's go to live chat. Oh my goodness. Oh, Rachel. Oh, I sound great. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness I sound great. So I really appreciate you. This is my first live in a long time because I've had really poor internet service out here in Podunk, Minnesota. So we've got the sun conjunct Mercury, lighting things up, saying you need to address what you didn't address before, because Mercury is in retrograde, saying, hey, you didn't get this communication thing down. You have to fix it. You don't move forward. You don't sign any new contracts. Maybe you revise old contracts at this time, but you don't do anything too terribly new during Mercury retrograde, because what you should be doing is receiving insight from the gods, from your higher self, your higher power. Mercury is actually, during retrograde, he's barreling closer and closer to the earth, physically in the sky. And that means he's bringing the messages in. He is the messenger of the gods, and the gods are the planets and the vibrations of the symphony of the spheres, which is the planets. So let's go back to our friend Venus, and I'm going to tell you what's going on with her. She is going to be square Neptune starting on around July 16th. So yeah, July 16th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's when she's making her moves, because and into the 20th. Our friend Venus in Leo is going to be square. Excuse me, I have to have a sip of water here. And I'll check the comments in a little bit. So she is going to be square Uranus in Taurus. And that means action is needed on the earth. And I really see Uranus as, a lot of people call him technology, but I do think he's an interdimensional messenger and an outer galactic messenger as well. So really pulling in things from the Fae, because a bunch of his moons are named after the fair folk in a Midsummer Night's Dream. So Titania, Oberon, Puck, Ariel, all are fairies mentioned in Shakespeare's play. And they are also some of the moons of Uranus. So I have a really strong connection with those gentle people, those beautiful, gentle, magical folk. And I like to let people know that that is part of the wildness of Uranus. So now I am looking at Venus being square that. Now, Venus is in a creative, powerful space right now, being lit up and being a bright and shining queen, basically on display and shining her brightest in Leo right now. She is taking charge. She is not taking crap either. So she knows that she is the one at the top of the chart. And as we move on here, we're going to see her. Let's see if I can get to what is the day that we're going to be crossing. Wow, she travels fast. Okay. 2026. Now, I thought I knew what day she was going to be connecting to. Or has she already? Nope, not quite yet. Okay. So there is another day you need to be aware of. That's the day. So that's the day right there. July 9th, I forgot to mention, she's going to be crossing over the South Node. Now, it's not just enough that she's going to be crossing over the South Node and connected to the South Node on the 9th, but once she crosses over that South Node, so the 9th, 10th, and 11th, karma is going to be coming up, especially karma around goddess issues. And that is all going to be trine Saturn in Pisces to do something on a spiritual level. So all the spiritual goddess warriors are going to be standing up and taking charge, or any woman who speaks and builds from spirit, who cares about community and who cares about what is right and saying it's time, because Saturn is the Lord of time, and she is saying it's time and then some. And, while also I just wanted to note that at the same time that she is, we'll do this. Nope. At the same time she's square with Uranus, she is what's considered quincunx with both Neptune and Pluto. So that means she's going to be at the point of a yod, the finger of God, goddess, and all that jazz. So that quincunx showing up is going to be a doozy on July 18th, 19th, 20th. That double quincunx pointing to Venus, converging on Venus. A quincunx is what's happening underneath, and it's literally the old ones from the outside of the galaxy, the Lord of the underworld, Pluto, the Lord of the sea, Neptune, are bringing up the ancient wisdom for every bright, expressive goddess to speak during that time. I have no idea what's going on, but timing is everything, right? And that's what this is all about. So let's move on to what's happening next. And it's Jupiter's turn to be making some connections and really highlighting what he's been doing over there in the connection with, I mean, we already talked about his sextile to Uranus, and we've got the and that's going to be coming up on a perfection on July 28th, because he's kind of a slow moving planet, and the others are definitely slow moving planets. But all of these outer planets that he's attached to right now is part of Cerridwen's Cauldron. He is going to perfect with between the 26th and the 28th. What I mean by perfection is going to be a 0 degrees of separation for the trine to Neptune, which is huge flow. And that's going to be on July 26th. And the next thing that's going to happen is the opposition to Pluto on July 27th. That could be a very big, big, big one. Oppositions are tension, strength. When I don't know why I think of it as sort of like a barbell. You have to do your reps. You have to make sure you're both strong and flexible, the way that if you like worked with those big giant rubber bands when you're doing workouts, right? But just before all that happens, we have Mars sextile our friend Saturn. So Saturn's going to be hit by Mars. Mars is such an action-oriented creature. Also, Julie Kusha Watts also sees him very much as Fae, because he's the first one that is outside the deep connection that we have with the sun, and he's able to go opposite the sun because he's out, the first planet beyond Earth. So he can go all the way around and not be tied to the sun in relationship to Earth. And so he is an adventurer and goes out there, and he's going to be adventuring on. He's in Taurus, has been in Taurus for a very long time. He will be in Taurus, I believe, almost the whole rest of the month. We'll get to that in a few minutes. I'm so excited about this month because it is really bringing the change, and change is much needed. And I try and stick mainly to the personal planets and what you can do to be very intentional on how you use this energy. And if you need help grounding energy, or you want to learn more about that, you can do that in Zodiac Club 13, which is my program for people who want to connect with the real sky. And I am on the 13th. It should be all done. I'm doing a quick start guide for understanding, charts, just quick and dirty, just to get you acclimated. And that is part of the standard membership at $13 a month, or I can't remember how much it is a year, like 130 or something. So you do save some money for doing it for the yearly, but we also do have a premium package for $33 a month, which has more about the energy work with the elements and how those relate to the planets and everything in Zodiac Club 13. The link is below, so go ahead and click on that and check it out. And here we go. So, so this Mars hitting Saturn, saying, again, we already had Venus, touch, or who's touched base? The sun touched base with Saturn. So we had sun, soul, ourselves, who are being animated by our spirits in these little 3D bodies, which are the spirit contains the body doesn't contain the soul permeates the body and keeps it alive and keeps your heart beating and keeps those messages from the universe, because consciousness isn't in the brain. Consciousness is in it's in every part of your nervous system, all 33 vertebrae, and it's all housed in the brain, and there are 22 bones in the skull. So those are two very sacred numbers, and that's why. So, yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Numbers do rule the universe. So the next thing that Mars is going to be doing is going around July 27th, Mars is going to be in a quincunx. Remember that? Oh, no, this is the semi-sextile, saying basically a high five to Mercury, saying, "Hey, Mercury, hey, let's give you a high five and say you're doing good. You're doing good." And then, so that's on July 27th. On the 28th, we have Venus now in a quincunx with Father Time, and being very intentional about how you spend your time at the end of this month is going to be a very key thing. Things do really start heating up once Jupiter perfects with all those outer planets. So really look for something. The last week of this month is going to be one of big change and big movement, but most of that is positive. And in your life, it depends on so many things. That's why I started the group, so we could talk about those things. That's why I started Zodiac Club 13. And the good news is July 29th, that's when Mercury stations direct. Now, he will be considered in shadow, because he'll be repeating that path again he did in retrograde, just, third time's the charm. Once going forward, twice going backwards, three going forwards again. So that is the spell of Mercury. And then the other thing that's going to be happening here, where'd it go? There it goes. Okay. Is, why can't I get this? Here we go. So the last couple days, yep, the last few days. So starting on the 27th, 28th, and 29th, that is going to be, the sun is going to be opposing Pluto. So the sun is moving and into, when is he getting into? Let me just back up a bit here, because he's in Gemini right now. And looks like I gotta wait for some things to pop up here. Oh, come on. Maybe. July 20th. Is that the day? Or is this the day? Will it scrub? It won't scrub. Okay. I'm still learning to use this part of the software as a live thing. So somewhere around the 20th, 21st, that's when the sun moves from Gemini into Cancer. And as we know, that's where Jupiter's been hanging out. So Jupiter is a fire planet. He's actually would have been a sun, except he didn't have quite enough oomph, not enough of the materials to set himself on fire. He's a gas giant, but he can't set himself on fire. So we've got the sun being opposite Pluto on the 28th. The sun in Cancer opposite Pluto in Capricorn, and then the sun is also trine Neptune in Pisces. Basically, the sun is joining in on Cerridwen's Cauldron with Jupiter. And the other thing I want you to be aware of is, so he'll have that sextile to Uranus as well, and the opposition to Pluto and the trine to Neptune, just like Jupiter does all month. And on the 28th, that's when our Lord of Time and Space goes retrograde. So yeah, the 27th through the 31st, There's one more thing I want to mention. Starting around the 28th, probably a little bit before that, we're going to start seeing a lot going on between Mars and Venus. So Venus is going to be while Venus is at the very, very end of her journey through Leo, she is going to, why can't I get the whole thing on here? I happen to know for a fact that she's going to be going like at the end of the month on the 30th or 31st. 30th. She's going to be going, between the 30th and the 31st, somewhere in there, midday on the 30th, where I'm at. She's going to be moving into Virgo. But before she does that, she is going to be square Mars in Taurus. So we'll have an earth sign, our two most intimate relationship signs, Venus in Leo, so earth in fire, and Mars in Taurus, fire in earth. That's why I, kind of stress that this is an earth and fire thing that's going on right now. Really strongly earth and fire with this cauldron of change. And then the final thing, of course, to be aware of is at the end of the month, that's when the sun is going to be conjunct with Jupiter, which is only going to add fire to everything and a more personal stake in Cerridwen's cauldron. I did a whole video talking about the story of Cerridwen and Guinbach. And once this is all done, I will link to that below. I really appreciate you. So 3 people here. Oh, hi, Phoenix. Nice. Oh, you betcha. Yeah, Lady and Spirit Walker. Nice to see you. I thank you guys for showing up. This was a very short notice. I just got my internet upgraded and now I get to do some lives. The next thing I get to learn is the OBS software. So I mean, literally my internet is 10 times faster than it has been since I moved here in 2022, and I actually lost a job because of it. But it's all good because this is what the universe wanted me to do, figure things out for myself. There's a lot going on this month, and I'm going to be following up with some more lives. And I'm just super excited that I don't have to do as much editing, and therefore I'm going to be able to deliver things real and true and, real human. And, I'm not sure what days they're going to be, but I wanted to jump right in here since I got this figured out. I'm so excited because I tried this a couple of times over the past year and it always glitched out on me. But now it's like, nope, I got a strong signal and I got my microphone here and I got my goddess energy going. And so how are you all feeling about this month and the transformations? Like I said, there's going to be a lot going on with Venus doing some moves next week or this week, basically the 8th through the 15th, the first half of the month, finishing up the first half of the month, making her connections. And then Jupiter is going to be doing his thing. And then at the very end, that's when Venus makes her final move into Virgo, taking all that fire and bringing it to the great goddess in Virgo. And that's the longest transit for any planet because that is the largest sign. And that's why it's harmony goddess wisdom now, because I'm going to be weaving in more of the tarot. And I didn't want to do harmony goddess astrology and tarot, but I don't know. And also I turned 60. So I legit have the right to say wisdom at this point. I've learned a thing or two in these years. I'm so excited that you're all here and that you're watching. And I really appreciate all of you. So if you could give this video a thumbs up and let everybody know, and maybe even type a comment in there. I'll type a comment in there to yeah, and keep an eye on my posts, because I am going to be doing more of those as well, because I can quick do like little 1-day things with the posts. And yeah, my world just got so much better with the better internet service. I can't even describe how happy it makes me. So blessed be, namaste, and all that jazz. And I will see you in the next video, possibly live, like maybe Thursday evening. Um, so uh, let's see, crazy. We're already 5 days into July. I know. And I'm like, how long has it been since I posted a video? I really, things happen in life that sometimes challenge us and take us in a different direction in our path. And that's what's happening for me right now, because I do want to have, really get dialed in on that Zodiac Club 13. It's on School, so there are no ads. There are no ads on School. Except for other school groups. And there's a lot to do on there, and a lot to learn, and a lot to play around with. We've got a community, and it's pretty much me and Julie who are the most active in the community. But I would love to see you all in there and saying hi. And like I said, on the 13th, and right now I'm actually having a free trial, 7-day free trial. So click on that link in the description below. You know what? I'll go ahead and I will put that in the top comment once I get off of here. And so thank you for showing up, for being supportive of my work. And I think 3 is a magic number. We had 3 in here at one time, and we'd had 3 people putting some things in the chat. And I love you all. Blessed be, namaste, and all that jazz. And now I'm actually doing that final Minnesota goodbye, where I am going to say goodbye and end the stream. Have a wonderful and magical week. Bye-bye.